Kia ora tātou, welcome back to Wargaming Den. Today's game I have for you is just a little solo game of Battlegroup that I had the other day. I'd finished painting up my Fallschrimjager force and I painted a couple of PSC Panthers. Decided I needed to get them on the table and throw some dice. So just a little practice game as I continue to struggle to come to terms with two different rule sets at the same time. So let's have a look at the British force. Not too dissimilar to the force I used the other week against Richard. It's a platoon based around a British motor rifle platoon of 3 sections in M5 half tracks. It's got an extra rifle section, so I've got a total of 4 sections of Vickers, a mortar, 3 Cromwells and a Firefly, an M10, a Humber armoured car, and the other supports off-board artillery, combat engineer platoon and a supply truck. So with all those transports and stuff, it's got a battle rating of 43. And here we have the Fallschrimjager force that I've just completed. Very happy with the way they've turned out. Running a Fallschrimjager platoon of 3 squads, got 3 medium machine gun teams, a medium machine gun, Pack 40, Panzerschreck, an extra squad, and then there are the 2 Panthers. They're not cheap, and I painted those up the night before. Happy with those so far. A 250/9 armoured car, and I'd also completed, who was it made by? Italiari, I think. Quad AA for the Fallschrimjager as well, and then some off-board artillery and a supply truck for extra ammunition. So the Fallschrimjager are going to be defending, and I'm trying the mission called Delaying Action. Okay, so the Germans can deploy up to halfway. I didn't give them any additional fortifications or anything. These 3 round circles are the objectives. Top of a hill here, ruined building and the crossroads. The Germans can deploy up to halfway. You roll to see each unit, if it's on table or off table. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of thing. We'll have a look at the dice roll, see how that turns out. But yeah, just a pretty standard table, few hills, major road network, nothing too exciting there. And the dice rolls for which units were in reserve didn't really go the Germans' way, unfortunately. Pack 40 and both Panthers were in reserve, along with some infantry squads and the mortars. The only things they actually had to start with was the quad AA and the armoured car, couple of squads of infantry and medium machine gun teams and a Panzerschreck. So the defence was a wee bit on the light side, and I think the Germans have delayed reserves. They start coming in on a 5+ from turn 2 onwards, so pressure was going to be on the defenders in this one. Just a little playtest game of Battlegroup, playing the Delaying Action mission. The Germans are defending. On table they've got an armoured car, a couple of infantry squads, a 20mm quad flak, and in a spotter, the rest of their forces and reserves. The only action from the Germans this turn was the 250/9 armoured car tried to take a shot at the Humber but missed. The British have just started moving on the board. They moved up beside this building and then debussed. We've got a Cromwell has come on, and an infantry platoon is advancing round on the flanks onto turn 2. And just a bit of an overview. So British got about 3 units came on turn 1, maybe 4. The Dingo, which is the forward command, an infantry squad or section came on in the half track, and at the end of that turn, because they're on the road, they moved into the building, and these guys had the medium machine gun, the mortar. I think they might have had a forward observer in the command HQ as well, and leading with the armoured car. So for the Germans, Their main point of defence was a section along this tree line here. There was also a Panzerschreck and a medium machine gun, and then there was another infantry section here with a medium machine gun. The quad AA was up on the hill over here, and that's the forward observer. So the German defences are a wee bit threadbare. Up here, another section double moved forward, and the idea is to try and move around this open ground and capture as much ground as possible before the German reserves start to arrive. British turn 2. The spotter called in the 25 pounders and they pinned Panzerschreck, an infantry squad, and a machine gun team, as well as the 250/9 and a machine gun team over there, and actually did a casualty on it as well. Otherwise, mortar also ranged in over that area. Otherwise, mainly just brought on a couple of tanks, and got 2 reserves, and infantry have pushed forward into that wood. So Germans turn 2 now. Turn 2 for the Germans, not a great deal of action. They got 7 orders, but most of the units are pinned, no reserves. All they did was use the spotter up there to try and range in on the infantry and half tracks. The range was, shell was a bit wild, ended up there, but it was still just in range, and the infantry took 2 losses. They took a casualty, and they also rolled 1 on their pin save, so lost 2 infantry and became pinned. So not a great deal of action from the Germans. British turn 3. Right, the British turn 3. They got 12 orders and 6 reserves came on. The artillery ranged in there, pinned a couple of units and killed one of the machine gun squad there. The half-track advanced to try and suppress the other machine gun team. Otherwise, M10 came on table and it's just taken up ambush position, as has the Cromwell there. And on the other flank, this is where the British are planning their main assault. The 2 Cromwells advanced. They took shots at the flak, which was on ambush, and fired twice, but everybody missed. So it is on to the German turn 3. We'll roll to see if they get any reserves. Turn 3 Germans. They only got 5 orders, so couldn't do a great deal, and no reserves came on. The artillery ranged in, destroyed the half-track and pinned the Firefly. Otherwise, they just tried to rally and only got 2 rally and got an extra battle chit, and the British got a battle chit for losing the half-track. So turn 4 about to begin. Very effective turn 4 from the British. The Cromwells advanced up to here and knocked out the flak. The other Cromwell knocked out a squad here. I think it was the Panzerschreck team. When this was destroyed, the Germans took a counter, which was a mine strike, and the Cromwell promptly blew up on a mine. Also, artillery ranged in here, killed its squad in low ammo. Result, British put on a squad, and the squad then ran off the board on a 6. So not a good turn for the Germans. They took a lot of casualties from all kinds of fire. So, and no sign of any reserves as of yet. So the Germans are really struggling. Just in the nick of time, the German reserves finally arrived. So 2 Panthers and a Pack 40 all deployed, but they managed to miss the half-tracks and also the Cromwell, and an infantry squad deployed into the building here, and the mortar team in behind it. So on to turn 5 for the British. So just from the British end of the table, this is the supply truck. This is the engineers have come on. M10 is taking cover there. Infantry or half track is advanced with suppressing fire up here. Infantry are advancing through the terrain, and that was their half track that got destroyed, and pushing up with the Cromwells and the infantry. And that's the Cromwell that ran over a mine, I think it was, to knock that one out. But the British have got to this road, putting lots of pressure on, and the Germans are really struggling to respond, and they're only just getting their reserves turning up. So Germans are struggling in this one. Okay, turn 5, and the British have miraculously just won. They've advanced to put pressure on the Panthers with the Cromwell, and then also over here the M10 and the other Cromwell advancing as well. The half tracks advanced and fired the machine guns at the Pack 40, killing the crew. Also put a hit on the machine gun in the building over there. And the last thing we did was capture that objective, which forced a last counter, and that was just enough. The Germans have a break of 27, and that was 28. So the British have overwhelmed the German defences on this occasion. Well, I didn't expect that one to be quite as one-sided. So as you can see here, we've got into the tree line, cleared both of the forward positions. Maybe some trenches and digging the guns in would have made a bit of a difference for the Germans, but the fact that most of their anti-tank weapons, the Pack and the Panthers, were off table most of the game didn't help their cause. And the other difference I tried in this compared to the last game we had with the British was try to keep my infantry in the half tracks and moving forward as much as possible to really try and put some pressure on. And just the way the table was set out and the defences and stuff, it worked out this time, and the British got lucky, putting lots of pressure on and just nibbling away. So even though it was just a little play test solo game, it took up an enjoyable afternoon and helped me to just get a wee bit more comfortable with some aspects of the battle group rules. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I hope it hasn't been too boring to watch, but that's all I have time for today. So thanks for watching, and until next time, ka kite anō.